Let's take the car out for a spin because I want to show you guys that there are two ways to activate a form of launch control on this car. There's regular launch control that everyone's kind of aware of on the G42 BMW 240i's. And then there's a different kind of launch control that works as well. And I'm going to show you guys how you do that and also the reasonings to use either one. If you ever wanted real carbon fiber parts, I do have a promo code with carbon add-ons. Whether you have a Chevy, a Dodge, or a Mustang, a Ford, you can get real carbon fiber parts and save 5% off even on the discounted stuff using code FITCityGarage5 or use the link in the description of this video down below. So thanks for checking it out, and let's get on with the video. So before I show you guys the launch controls, the two different ones, first go into your driver settings because I'm going to show you how you should have your drivetrain and chassis. So if we go to Sport Individual, you're going to want to lay out your own custom settings. Now you want dampening and comfort because believe it or not, you don't want in Sport is to keep the chassis stiff going around corners and the twisty bits, but comfort will allow the chassis to rock back when you launch the car. That's what you want. You want to be able to put the power to the rear wheels, even though this is all-wheel drive, it's rear wheel bias still, and you want the weight transfer to get up and go. So you'll have it in comfort. Steering you can really put in whatever you want. I just put mine in sport. Drivetrain I have in sport as well. Now there's going to be a reason for this in a minute. And then transmission in sport, same for this. Now what's going to happen is you're going to want to make sure you're in your individual sport mode. Okay, that's great. Now to activate the first launch control, the real launch control, what you're going to do is come down here. You're going to turn off just traction. That's it, just traction. And then we'll go to home. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at our vehicle, go to content, go to adaptive content so we can see this. Now, next thing you're going to do, you're going to put it in sport mode. So we've got traction, sport, drive, sport. That's transmission, sport transition mode. So we still have our sport individual, which means we have the chassis good to go, the soft settings, and we have sport transmission. So what you do here is you put the brake down very firm, and if you hold the gas, it'll say launch control active. Let that build to 11 and then go. Okay. Now, when would you use this? If you're on stock turbo, not making a ton of horsepower and torque. But let's say you've got like a stage 2 E85 pure 800, like a better turbo, a turbo that makes a lot of power, or you're thinking about doing it. If you go back into here and turn everything off, okay, and then we'll go back, everything is turned off. Now if you hold it again, you'll start to build boost, but you won't build as much. You build about 8 psi. Okay, so you're probably thinking, well, let's put this in park. You're thinking, well, why would you do that? Why would you go for less psi? Here's the kicker. Let's say you don't have a trans tune, or you're going to be getting one. You would build up boost in first gear with a bunch of horsepower. You'll blow the wheels off. You'll blow the tires off the car with 11 psi, probably higher, honestly, if you're tuned. So that's no bueno. But if you turn everything off, as you see, it builds 8 psi. You can build 8 psi. And of course, in the tune, you can adjust this, trans tune, you can adjust these parameters. But if you're having problems, this is the key. If you're having problems with traction, you can try that mode and not build as much boost. This is even on stock turbo. So you can play with this, right? You can do the actual launch control, have 11 psi. If you're hooking and booking, you're good to go in your races or at the drag strip. But if you need to leave on a softer PSI, that is how you do it. You turn everything off. But my opinion, personally, is you use the actual launch control at 11 PSI. You're going to get the most consistent times. It does still have some traction in there for like sideways traction, so it'll try to keep you straight. And I notice it doesn't really cut that much power, if at all. So these cars are great if you got a good wheel and tire setup, some meats in the back, or just some good tread wear tires. Chances are you're going to hook up just fine on virtually every surface. In good enough temperatures, let's say 50 degrees and up, you should hook up pretty well. at around, I have my tires at 35 psi right now. That's what I drive around at, but you can dabble with the psis as well. People usually do 30 to 35 with 200 tread wear tires, and then if you got some really good tires like Mickey's or something like that, you can do, you know, 26, 28 psi, and those things will just hook and book. But I just wanted to show you guys two different ways to actually do a launch control, because I do want to reiterate with everything off. Notice I held my brake and then put the gas. The car wasn't lurching. It was activating a form of launch control. It just doesn't kick into the computer to build more boost than 8 psi. So you can play with this around a little bit. If you have some racing events or Mexico events, you know, racing people, one might work better than the other depending on your conditions. So whether you're stock turbo, tuned stock turbo, or a big horsepower, look into this a little bit more. Use this as a basis of your launch control, and then you can adjust things as well. Like I said, you can build more psi, things of that nature. You can adjust these things in tunes with your tuner. You've got the trans settings, because a lot of people like to launch in second gear once they get the XHP transmission tuning, but still something to play with though. So there you guys have it, just a quick video kind of showcasing what you can do with the stock BMWs. Now this does work for the G42, M240i's, and I do believe the G20s, like the BMW 340, M340s, it might work with all BMWs, to be honest with you. I'm not entirely sure, but this is what I found out, and haven't seen anyone really talking about this in any kind of depth whatsoever. So I hope this helped you guys out. If it did, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.